Okay, welcome to this video. I'm gonna talk about what people refer to as aliens, or what they refer to as spirits, or even guardian angels and spirit guides. These are all one and the same. And I'm gonna talk about how these aliens, how they control us, how they trick us and manipulate us into being in situations that they want us to, that they want us to be in. So I'm going to use myself as an example, and because apparently the only justice I'm ever going to see is this one here, where I get to let other people know. Now, you can believe whatever you want to. That's fine. But I've been in this business for many, many years. I've done channeling myself. I've had my visions and spiritual visions, spiritual experiences, and so forth and so forth. I'm not a person that one day read a book and lost his mind and decided to put two and two together. That's not me. I'm very scientific, very observant, very much a researcher that analyzes things and takes things apart and so forth and so forth. So the bottom line here is that there are things out there that are pretending to be our friends, and they're using that mask as a way of controlling us, making us do what they want, thereby violating our natural universe rights. If you will, think of it as water, right? Water is free. You're not supposed to be paying for water. Yet here are these companies putting water in bottles and they're selling it to you. So they're stealing from nature and taking your money out of your pockets to satisfy themselves. So it's something like that, where you have nature and then all of a sudden here come these entities, these aliens, and they tamper with living things and they think they own you. This is what's happening. So these aliens, they're clever. They use clever psychology. And what they do is based on human weaknesses. The common human weaknesses are love, peace, hope, kindness, and fear. This is what we see in the Holy Bible, where people are being controlled and manipulated based on their weaknesses. Intimidation is used based on fear. So these aliens have been at it for a long, long time. And they, again, used different types of masks, so to speak. Spirit guides, guardian angels, and so forth and so forth. I've been through a number of rituals myself. I've had friends that have done rituals to others. I've actually had the opportunity to hang out and live with psychics and clairvoyants and all that, so I know what I'm talking about. Again, I didn't just pick up some book somewhere and then decided to make this video. I'm coming to you from my own direct experience. So, again, what they do, they operate under the principles of human weaknesses, implementing various forms of psychology. So the easiest way to get to a person is to make them believe something based on their weaknesses. And in fact, in the common Holy Bible, people are warned about this all over the place. The enemy comes in the form of love. I don't even need to get into chapters and verses and books in the Holy Bible, but even though the Holy Bible has issues, there are certain philosophies that do stand. So what they do is they manipulate you, and one of the ways they do this is through what they call a chakra system. By now, pretty much a lot of people know what a chakra system is. So you hear all this stuff in the New Age media, on YouTube, wherever. You hear all this stuff about how you're supposed to clear your chakra system, how you're supposed to keep your chakra system clean, and so forth and so forth, do these meditations of light and so forth and so forth. But little do you know that the reason why they want you to keep your chakras clear is so that they can control you better. The cleaner your chakra system is, the better they can control you. And if you want to, you don't have to believe me, but if you do your research online, you can actually have your chakra system removed. That might be something new to people. So how is it that we can have our chakra systems removed if they're telling us that this is part of your body system? What they're not telling you is that it's a system by which these entities are able to control you. So again, you don't have to listen to me. Go online and look it up yourself. So this is how they do it. They come to you in the mask of love, kindness, and peace, And the way they do it is by the agents that they have on this planet. Those agents are your clairvoyants, your psychics, your shaman, and so forth. These are the passageways by which they propagate their agenda. Now, what is it that they're looking for? Well, having analyzed these things over the years, bottom line, I believe that what they're trying to do is they're trying to develop certain types of energies out of the human body. If you look at the sun has lots of energy, and life depends on that energy. But we don't go around manipulating the sun. The sun naturally gives. But if you look at your body, and your body has a very high temperature, you are emitting energy just like the sun. You're a small version of the sun. So I believe what they're doing is they're using all of these forms of psychology to have us produce certain types of energies. And it could be, again, this is a clever system. It's a system that has been developed over centuries. So even something as simple as a beautiful flower, a nice butterfly, a beautiful sunny day, all those things trigger energy changes inside of you. You have to start paying attention to the type of energy you are emitting. They say that you have negatives and you have positives, right? Nobody wants negatives, so they tell you to choose positive. But did you know that positive also comes from the same source that negative comes from? Or in other words, you have one source that is producing negative and positive, all to try to trap you into the same place. Again, these guys are clever. They operate based on human weaknesses. So this is why when people pass away and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you see some pet that you used to have, or you see a loved one that passed away years ago, or friends that passed away, all of a sudden you see them on the other side where the light is. What's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to run to them. That's how they get you. Again, based on your weaknesses. So if negative is not the place to go to, if positive apparently is not the place to go to because it's from the same source, then where is the right place to go to? The right place to go to is none of the above. Zero space. Start thinking about zero registration of energy in your body. Turn off your lighthouse. Because whatever these things are, wherever they are, they're using deception just to get energy registration out of your body. And this might have something to do with the energy grid system of the earth that we keep hearing about. But you know what? In my book, doing this in a deceptive fashion is unjust. Now, if you notice, all of these clairvoyants, shaman, and so forth, the majority of these people are women. Why is it that it's only women? Have you asked yourself that question? Could the stories be true that out there somewhere there's some female queen alien that's running the show? Who knows? But you know what? I recommend you do what I do. I judge by the tracks that are left behind. Like a good scientist, like a good hunter. No one's going to say that a hunter doesn't know what he or she is doing based on the tracks that they find on the ground of animals. Or a conservationist. Conservationist sees traces that animals left behind, and they're able to tell what type of animal was there, when it was there, and so forth and so forth. This is a foolproof system. That's a system I use when I analyze things. So what these things do, for example, in my case, in my life, I've been in situations where, I can't be successful in anything. And what these entities do is they have put me in situations where I have no choice but to choose a certain path that is presented to me. Now, that path, as it turns out, in this particular case, and it has to do with jobs, where, I find myself in situations where I can't find a job that pays enough money. And if I can't find a job that pays enough money, I can't have my own apartment. I can't live in my own home. So I have no choice but to live with other people. So this is what they do. This is their doing. It's not your doing. Cosmetically speaking, people will say, oh, you don't try hard enough to look for a good paying job and all this nonsense. But you know what? They don't know what we know. They don't know that there are these alien characters behind the scenes orchestrating all of this. If they want to be blind to that, let them be blind. But like I said, look at the tracks that are left behind. So I'm left in a situation where I have no choice but to share an apartment with other people. Now, as it turns out, while I'm sharing the apartment with other people, it's people that on their own won't be able to afford their own place. Plus, it's a person or people that might be in certain situations where they will benefit from your company and so forth and so forth. So this is what they do. So in other words, what I'm saying here is that these entities, they do things to try to force you to choose certain paths that they want you to choose, to put you in situations that they want you to be in. And it doesn't mean that your life is going to be better, because my life essentially has been a prison. And that is where I am today. Low paying job. I can't afford my own place. No wife, no girlfriend, no friends. I'm in a prison where I live. And if it wasn't for me being where I live, the other person that I share my living quarters with wouldn't be able to have their own place. So basically what I'm saying here is that they set me up so that I'm basically a throw pillow. They sacrificed my life so somebody else could have a throw pillow. This is a violation of our natural evolution, our natural course of life. These entities think they own us just because they altered our DNA. Just like water. Companies bottle water. They think they own the streams of the earth. They don't own it. Nobody owns us. Nobody owns you. So these are violations that continue to take place upon the race of humanity based on what I believe are feministic forces. There's a feministic force out there, an alien force, and all they care about is that feminine movement. This might have something to do with the earliest history of the earth, but you know what? It's a crime in my book to go around abusing the people, abusing men, using men to satisfy your own feministic needs. That's a crime to me. So these are the changes that have to take place. All the time I do my prayers by candlelight, and I try to hail judicial systems out there in the universe, in the omniverse and beyond. But you know what? There apparently doesn't seem to be any judicial system out there. So you know what? The only way I can serve justice is by giving people the knowledge. This is what it's funny, because you think about people of the past, centuries ago, and how they drew pictures in caves, or different periods of history, how people have left messages behind. Maybe this is the only way we can do it. Maybe this is the only way we can find some sort of justice, is by leaving a message behind. So this is why I do this, because apparently no matter what I say, in no matter what form of a prayer, what people call a prayer, there's no justice served. So you know what? I have to find another way to bring justice to the matter, and that's by letting the world know through recordings like this one. These entities, they pose themselves as guardian angels and spirit guides. I could tell you stories about guardian angels and spirit guides. Trust me, they're not guardians, they're not spirit guides. These are entities that are controlling and managing the prison system of this planet Earth. If you really do your research, you know what I'm talking about. And like I said, I've seen things with my own two eyes that are not even documented anywhere in any YouTube. So you have all this new age movement, all this talk about DNA activation and all this utter nonsense. It's all systems to better control people. How many of us have followed channeled messages that predated December of 2012? And how many of those messages proclaimed that come a certain day in 2012, December, we were going to be creating anything we wanted instantly? Has that happened? Of course not. How many predictions have been made that never panned out? How many things are said in those channeled messages that never happen? People continue to read and support these channeled messages, and they never stopped to ask themselves, wait a minute, none of this stuff is happening. Why? You know, but what is the one thing that does happen when you read these messages? It gives people hope. Now, didn't I just say that hope is one of the weaknesses of human beings? Love, peace, hope, peace, kindness, fear. This is how they target you. This is how they get you to change your energy registration. It's your energy that they're interested in. They don't care about you. Why are messages being given only to white people? Why aren't people, drug dealers or prisoners, why aren't they receiving cosmic messages? Why is it only the white people? Why is it only women? The majority is women. These are the questions people don't ask. These are the things that are right in front of you, the clues that tell you there's something wrong with the picture. We are being lied to. These aliens, they can manipulate you through your dreams, through spiritual visions, through feelings. You might one day feel that you have to start playing lottery because something good is going to happen. It all could be a hoax, as I've discovered in my own case. I've been through all these things. How many people are out there touring the world, sharing their spiritual experiences? You know, they had some profound experience and they feel compelled to share it with the world. They're telling everybody a whole bunch of stuff, but this stuff never happens. I'm not going to mention names, but there are people out there that have had spiritual experiences. They went around the world telling the people that in 2012, 2013, this and that is going to happen. It never happened. Why? Could it be that these are just lies, gimmicks being used on the race of people so as to change their energy registration? These aliens don't give a damn about you. They never did. All that you are worth to them is a registration of energy. And they use the bare bones system. That means they'll use the bare minimum of things that they could bring you just to change your energy registration. Once they have you where they want, then they forget about you. And it's like a company, right? A company pays its workers garbage money, like the company I work for, and they expect you to do the job of 5 or 6 people. Meanwhile, they're not giving you any benefits. They're giving you unsustainable wages. You can't even go to a movie or buy a pair of shoes. Meanwhile, they're making millions of dollars, living the lavish life, all at your expense. So this has to stop. And this is what I'm letting the people know. Whatever these things are, they're liars. These are aliens, entities that are manipulating human beings for their energy. They make you promises. They tell you that you are owed all of these blessings, these natural blessings that you were supposed to have. They're not giving you anything. All they want is for you to have the energy registration they want. I recommend you try to have your chakra system removed. You know, this is like the chakra system is like a scaffolding on a building. So there's a building, it's being refaced or whatever. So, you know, the construction company builds the skeleton outside of the building. That's what your chakra system is. Again, people are having their chakra systems removed. Why? Why would you want to remove your chakra system if they're telling us that it's something good? These are the questions people don't ask. Could it be that the chakra system actually is a mechanism which will allow these entities to control you better? These are the questions people don't ask. You know what? I'm not receiving the blessings that other people are receiving. So you know what? Since I'm not receiving them, then I have to let the world know what's really going on out there. Whatever these things are, they have the power to literally overnight change your life into what you want it to be. But that's not what they want. That's not the name of their game. They'll use their psychics, their Reiki masters, their clairvoyants, their shaman. They'll use these people and give them the blessings, give them the power to try to deceive you. But once you go to any of them and you pay for attunements and so forth, guess what? You don't see any difference in your life. Like I said, I've been through all that. I'm living proof that all of that is a lie. All they want is to make you believe that tomorrow is going to be a better day. It never will. You know, it's up to you, yourself, to activate your own self, your soul, your center. The safest place is the middle of your body. Keep your consciousness there. Turn off your lighthouse. Turn off your lighthouse by ignoring all of that. Forget about gods, forget about saviors, forget about angels, forget about spirit guides, forget about guardian angels. What are guardian angels guarding you from? Let's look at the world. You know, why aren't the guardian angels of a crackhead or a criminal guarding them from doing such a bad thing? I thought they were our guardian angels. Why aren't we being guarded? Funny thing, I found out from a shaman a long time ago. Again, these are friends I've had. The shaman told me that my spirit guides and my guardian angel were asleep, that I had to activate them. Now I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. I thought in the media they were making us believe that everybody had a guardian and spirit guide that was protecting us. Now here's this guy telling me that those four entities of mine were asleep and I had to activate them. This is not what they're telling anybody in the open media. You know? Why isn't anybody telling you that your guardian angels and your spirit guides could be asleep on the job? You know? This is exactly what I mean. There's a psychological game running out there, and you're falling for it. You're believing everything that they're telling you. Again, everybody wants peace. Everybody wants hope. Everybody wants love. Everybody wants kindness. This is where you're going to go. Meanwhile, you don't realize your registration of energy is what they want. Like I said, the true energy is no energy, zero space. Don't choose negative. Don't choose positive. Choose zero. Turn off your lighthouse. You know what? They wanna use your energy. It's gonna cost you $1 million. You know? This is the name of the game. I'm living proof. And there are many other people out there like myself that for years have dedicated their good will and good intentions, you know, in the hopes to make this world a better place. And you know what? All that they've done was fail us each and every time. You can't spend the rest of the time that you have here hoping that one day you're going to wake up and life actually is going to be better and you can do good things on this planet. It's like I always say, if you can bless one person, the program is still not done. You know, we could bless half the planet, but you know what? The mission's not over because the other half is not blessed. Until everybody is equal, we can't sit down. We can't claim victory. It's like a company, right? A company you work for is good for some people that are getting all the benefits. They're getting all the money. But what good is it to some janitor? What good is the company that I work for if they're paying me unsustainable wages? I can even buy a pair of shoes. You know? So that's what it is, you know. It's people think that, you know, the negative and positive comes from the same place. You know, it's like an atom. An atom has negative and positive charges, but it's all from the same place. You know, it's a shame, you know. It really breaks my heart to see that whatever these things are, they're liars, manipulators, doing everything in the book that they can to manipulate the human race. You know, it's really heartbreaking. So you know what? I gave all of that up. Gods, spirit guides, guardian angels, channeling, using all sorts of tools to do spiritual communications, spiritual readings. I dropped all that. Crop circles, doing research on YouTube, listening to all those documentaries on YouTube. I dropped all of that completely. You know, because I realize it's all a lie. You know, they tell us that we have children that are indigo children, and we have people telling us that children are starting to be born different. But when you look around you, everybody looks the same. I don't know any single kid, any child of any age that has anything different about them. That is how you can tell the truth. In fact, there are people in my family that have children that are claimed to be these special clairvoyant or indigo children. They're normal children. There's nothing indigo about them. Look at me, I went through 2 DNA activations. There's absolutely nothing different about my body if you know DNA. I was told that I would develop, or not even develop, that instantly I would be able to see images in front of my 2 eyes in 3 dimensions. Each of the 2 times that I did the DNA activation, there was nothing of any 3D hologram in front of me. Because when you do a DNA activation on a person's body, their body changes. There are absolutely positively no changes whatsoever. And between the 2 DNA activations, there was a year of time. You know? You don't have to wait a year of time. You know, this is done, if they really were activating my DNA, I would see it happen. I would see it different instantly. The only thing I did see was that my energy changed after the session, but that's to be expected because as we hear the stories, whenever an entity is standing next to you, your energy, it affects your energy. Your energy changes. We all hear the stories about how People have stood next to entities and their energy changes, and all of a sudden they become clairvoyant just for standing next to an entity. So a lot of people will mistake that initial energy charge as to mean that their DNA was activated. That's hardly the case. Whatever these things are out there, they're running a game. They're lying to us. And you know what? You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you're not going to fool all of them. You know, the best thing you can do is what I do, judge by the traces that you see behind. Faith without works is dead. You can tell somebody you love them 1,000,000 times. If you don't ever do anything for them, you don't love them. That's the bottom line. You know, we see these gimmicks all the time. How many times we hear stories about how guys want to get into girls' pants, and what they do is they run a psychological game on the girl. Once they get the girl into bed 3 or 4 times, then the show is over. We hear this all the time. We see these gimmicks in advertising on the internet. How many people are lying on the internet and the products they sell to sucker you out of your dollar? Again, all based on what you want to hear. You know, this is no different with these entities, and you can tell by the traces that they leave behind. That is not a lie. Well, I know that in my life, I'm a prisoner in the life that I have. This is not what I want for myself. There's something out there that's keeping me a prisoner against my will. This is a crime by the standards of the true universe, by the standards of the omniverse, by the standards of the grand omniverse. These are crimes against the living people. Something has to be done.